In 1946, Juilliard School President William Schumann and violinist Robert Mann founded a string quartet that would carry the name, spirit, and values of the famed Juilliard School. They were not aware that they had created one of the most lasting and successful ensembles in classical music. What lies behind the success story of the Juilliard String Quartet? The founding members of the Juilliard Quartet were violinist Robert Mann and Robert Koff, violist Raphael Hillier, and cellist Arthur Winograd. Already recognized as accomplished musicians, they embraced the founding ideas of Schumann and Mann, cherishing and nurturing the key values that remain until this day. As a resident quartet, their primary responsibility was to promote and carry the Juilliard name around the world. In building a strong identity and establishing high standards of excellence, they set the pillars on which they built the team. Devoted to the classical masterpieces as well as to promoting new music, the Juilliard Quartet quickly became a synonym for the best classical music can offer. This brought them numerous awards, including 4 Grammys and membership in the National Academy Recording Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame. In 2011, the quartet received the NRAS Lifetime Achievement Award for its outstanding contributions to recorded classical music.
To me, the Juilliard Quartet is a great example of musicians coming together and creating a solid chamber music ensemble. It's an inspiration on how they work together and how they created their repertoire. For the music world, I think it's important that they are also teaching, not only like individual lessons, but also chamber music ensembles. And today we have the Emerson Quartet, the Tokyo Quartet, the Pretano Quartet that they study with the Juilliard Quartet. And those are world-famous quartets today. So it's just their legacy is continuing further.
Well, I've heard of the Juilliard String Quartet since I was a child. I remember listening to their recordings as a violin student and listening to their inspiring and uplifting performances. I followed a magazine where it was always announced the new members of the Juilliard String Quartet, and it was interesting how it was so important for the whole music world to know more about that new member and whether that new member will fit into the string quartet. They had such a unique identity. So I believe that in the past, today, and in the present, music students and audiences will always look up to the Juilliard String Quartet.
During the quartet's long history, 15 musicians have occupied one or the other position in the team. The Juilliard String Quartet developed its own hiring process, carefully choosing members that would fit the sound. Members did not change very often, ensuring continuity and stability within the team.
Well, sound is music, or music is sound. So for us musicians, sound is something which we project to the audience. This is something by which we are known. So of course also the Juilliard String Quartet chose their members according to the sound, because they knew that that defines them. The Juilliard String Quartet had their definitive and very unique sound. So this is a sound that started from the founding fathers to this day. As a musician myself, I choose my partners according to sound also. And if we do differ a bit, we work together on unifying it. So this is something I think we all musicians have in common.
The Juilliard Quartet inspired me in their way that they were working together, how they were like meeting for rehearsals, working on pieces. Even if Robert Mann, the person that established the quartet, said that part of the quartet is also like a lot of unhappiness and fights, but this is part of playing chamber music also, because you're creating something that you have to adjust to the ideas of somebody else as well. So imagine when there are 4 people playing together, what kind of work has to be done. So it's an inspiration of how people, they should work together.
Over the many years, positions were changed several times, The longest enduring was first violinist and founder Robert Mann, who retired in 1997. His presence for over 50 years certainly influenced the sustainability of the core values in the quartet. Mann was replaced by second violinist Joel Smirnov, a move that secured the values the quartet rested upon. In 2016, the first female player, cellist Astrid Schween, joined the ensemble replacing Joel Krosnick after 42 years. This marked an unusual occurrence. For the first time, no current member had played with at least one founding member. Quartet members have voiced on different occasions their opinion as to how the quartet continues the legacy of being the greatest American quartet in history. They agree that the key quality is the smooth and fine-tuned communication between them. At rehearsals, they talk and discuss in a subtle, silent way without drawing too much attention. New members are carefully chosen to fit the sound, and their ability to embrace the existing dynamic is tested. Members agree that joining an established and successful quartet like the Juilliard is a challenge and responsibility. Throughout the years, new members have added different perspectives, adding value to the core principles on which the quartet resides.
It's important because Juilliard Quartet, they had a specific sound from the very beginning. So I believe the members now, they're trying to keep as close as possible to the original sound of the quartet. And also sound, music, we realize music through sound. So sound is one of the most important elements in music.
Well, the most important lesson of this story is the fact that the founding fathers established strong values and clear guidelines from the very start. And these values and guidelines, the string quartet follows to this day and leads their success. So I think this is something very important also for organizations and other industries. Set the rules right from the start.
The key lesson we can draw from the Juilliard Quartet story is the strong presence of the why, the purpose of the ensemble. Founders Robert Mann and William Schumann established a quartet which is a sum larger than the parts, a team that transcends the individual requirements of its members. The example of the Juilliard Quartet draws us back to Steve Jobs' famous quote on the Beatles. "My model for business is the Beatles. They were four guys who kept each other's kind of negative tendencies in check. They balanced each other, and the total was greater than the sum of the parts. That's how I see business. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people." The Juilliard String Quartet has certainly proven Jobs' point.